How does a manifestor or an initiator reclaim their power? The very first thing that I would say, I mean, this is what I talk about with coaching, and it may be different. I think part of the thing you have to start with, first of all, is to ask, what is the source of losing connection to the power? And is this a problem that really requires a more therapeutic approach or a coaching approach? So, it has been my experience over the years when I do readings for manifestors that I find a lot of manifestors have really experienced significant, what I would consider to be abuse as a result of their manifestor energy, that open sacral that didn't know when enough was enough in a child, with sometimes parents who maybe weren't even intending to abuse their child, but just didn't know what else to do to try to control this person with so much power. That the experiences that they had that maybe disconnected them from their power go beyond needing to just wake up their power, that maybe there's trauma there that needs to be cleared and healed for them to feel safe to be powerful, because that can be a thing, right? Obviously, you guys know that I'm a big fan of the quantum alignment system, and I do think that if you've got somebody that's really struggling to tap into their power, I would encourage you to go work with a quantum alignment system practitioner, because you really do. It does help to have somebody who knows human design and also how to unlock some of the old narratives that might be keeping you from stepping into your power. I, you know, I use a model in my coaching practice that revolves around 9 keys of resilience. And empowerment is one of those essential keys to being resilient. And it's certainly something that we work on clearing. I would say the easiest thing, two things I would say to start with. The first thing I would say is drop into your body. Really start paying attention to how your body is responding, and that's not in the generator way, that's in the human way. How is your body responding to circumstances, conversations, your experience of the world, what you see, what inspires you? Really tune into the body, because sometimes what happens, especially for manifestor types, if you lose connection to your body, because that manifestor process is so visceral and so sensual and so nonverbal, and so like when the signal goes, it's time to go, right? If you get disconnected from your physical body, sometimes you're losing connection to the power and to the signals that allow you to step into the power. So anything that brings you back into the body, whether it's yoga or Tai Chi or just regular walking, something that gets you back into your body is the first thing that I would encourage you to do. The second thing that I would encourage you to do is to start exploring your personal narrative, because a lot of times when you start tuning into, what stories am I telling about who I am? What stories am I using to define my experience in the world? And I use very conscious storytelling practices to help people reframe their narrative so that they begin to craft a narrative that's more in alignment with their chart. And that narrative, whether you craft that narrative through storytelling, through art projects, through some other kind of sensual embodiment of the energy of the narrative, but getting into the real juice of a creative narrative can dramatically change your connection to your power. Those would be the few things I would say to start with. But it's also, there's a lot that can go into it. You also can look at your parents in their conditioning field. You can look at your siblings in your conditioning field. There's lots of other things you can do as well. Manifestor women in particular, especially manifestor older, I won't call us older, more mature women who have had more experience on the path of life. How's that? That the in a society that still does not get super excited about powerful women, we don't like powerful women. If we're really honest, we still have issues with women being powerful in our culture. If you are a powerful woman, and a woman who was designed to initiate, and you've been deeply trained to be a lady, right? And to not step into that power, and you have to rewrite that programming. and you've been spending your whole life denying, pushing down, not giving yourself permission to follow your natural instincts, your natural creative pulse. And that anger, which is that disrupted creative flow, has to go somewhere. That sometimes it makes for very unhealthy expressions because you don't even understand what's going on with why you're feeling so disconnected and disrupted and so repressed.